Hello everyone, and welcome back to Star Trek Online 23rd Century Starfleet campaign. Today, we're just gonna jump right into a mission, play a little hide and seek. Oh, we're receiving a distress call from the U.S.S. Valor, and the Gorn are attacking. Get a sensor scan on them. Now, our beam fire at will won't do much with my current load up, because we're using two forward-facing cannons and a beam in the aft. So let's hail the U.S.S. Valor.
Thank you for the assist. Our ship is on a mission to map the Pulsar Nebula. Unfortunately, we failed to adequately compensate for the power drain the nebula had on our engines. We retreated from the nebula to make repairs. That's when we stumbled upon an illegal Gorn mining operation.
Presumably, they didn't take that well.
If you hadn't shown up when you did, we'd be sucking vacuum. Our chief engineer says there's no way we can make it back to a starbase. In fact, without new dilithium crystals, we're stuck.
Sounds like we arrived just in time.
There are crystals on some of the larger asteroids here. That's why we headed for this location in the first place. If you could gather some crystals for us, we can make it to safety. Send us a hail if you have any questions about the nebula. We would be happy to share our data.
Okay, we'll get some dilithium from the asteroids. Now, if we were an engineer, we could gather all the crystals from one of these facilities all in one go and just go back to the U.S.S. Valor. But since we're a science officer, we don't get that option. Oh, I'm gonna have to attack this assimilator. Now the assimilator, every time it gets hit with a brace for impact, which is our new space ability, every time that aceton assimilator gets hit with energy weapons, it generates a pulse that does quite a bit of damage. But yeah, I've switched this photon torpedo out with a quantum torpedo. It does roughly twice as much damage. Look, I'm just going to ignore that assimilator if I can, because I don't think it'll attack as long as we don't shoot anything at it. Now, you can shoot these mines, but it's not very practical to, and they don't do all that much damage. They're only photon mines. Oh, okay, the assimilator does do a very slight amount of damage, but not even enough to really slow us down. I don't know what the range on it is. It's usually around 10 kilometers for abilities. And weapons, in fact. Alright, we just need one more load of crystals. Now I'll zoom the mini-map in, and they're in fact right behind us. Now while we're gathering crystals, I'm going to explain a bit about this ship. This is the Saber class. I can't quite remember when it was first introduced into Star Trek, but it saw a lot of action during the Dominion War, during Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It was mainly introduced as kind of a stopgap measure, because the Federation didn't have too many attack ships at the time, and they needed something to counter the Dominion ships. So they made the Saber class, something that was small, could turn quite easily, and, you know, could distract larger Dominion ships away from the station.
We're in your debt. This is enough Delithium to get our warp engines restarted. After we finish preliminary repairs, we'll set course for Starbase 157.
Okay.
If you want to go into the Pulsar Nebula, your engines will need a boost. I recommend you visit Lackey 3. The Gorn drove out the Federation miners there and took over a Delithium processing facility. It's only fair that you take some of our crystals back.
I'm not sure that's fair, but it's definitely what he seems to want us to do. Okay, the Gorn are running have numerous structures in the debris field. Okay, well, they're in Federation territory, so we are well within our rights to just attack them indiscriminately, I suppose. Now, dilithium is kind of interesting how the game handles it. It's essentially well, for game purposes, it's what I like to call a freemium currency. I don't know really what else to call it. You can earn it in-game, and then trade it in for Zen, which is used in the in-game store, to buy ships and other such things. I actually wasn't supposed to attack this guy right away, but I got a bit distracted by him. Now, Gorn ships really like to drop mines behind them. Okay, that's it for that. Yeah, I'll just quickly demonstrate it if I can. Go to Assets, which basically contains all of your currency. Energy credits aren't technically a Federation currency, but the game has to use something for currency. Oh, they can't get a lock on the Delithium. Okay, so there's some sort of jamming station nearby. So we'll prepare some spatial charges, which are basically space bombs, and we'll go down there and destroy the jamming station. And there go some shuttles. And then we just beam the Delithium aboard from the station, and we don't even have to fight them. We can warp right to the Pulsar Nebula. Okay, so there seems to be a high-density object, and it's on another high-density object. So we're going to have to find whatever this high-density object is. But yeah, I was explaining dilithium. Basically, you can earn it just by playing missions or doing special events. A lot of what you do in the game earns you dilithium ore. You have to refine it in order to actually use it for anything. So you can refine up to 8,000 dilithium per day on a free-to-play account. You can buy a subscription to this game, or you can even go so far as to buy a lifetime subscription. Which, basically, it's, I think, around $200 US or something. They occasionally have sales. But the monthly fees are pretty standard for regular subscriptions. But you don't need one to play. Everything, well, not everything, but all of the important stuff in the game is provided for free. And the Delithium store, you can buy more powerful equipment for your ship, as well as ground equipment and stuff like that. Let's get a bit closer to these birds of prey and immediately put a sensor scan on them. And you can see just how powerful cannons are. We'll continue scanning these objects. Oh, there's an old 22nd century satellite. Now, up here is going to be a bit interesting. There's an enormous asteroid, and there's a Klingon battlecruiser in front of it. It also has a surprise waiting for us, but I don't want to spoil anything too much. Although, I've never actually played this in a tactical ship, so it'll be interesting. Tactical ships are a bit more fragile than the other types. Now we will activate our tractor beam to counter his increased defense, and there we go, mines. How I do this usually is we need to get close to that asteroid to scan it, but it is absolutely surrounded by mines. So I'm going to stop here and let all the mines come to me. Okay, that seems to be it for mines. That wasn't so bad. Right, let's scan the enormous asteroid. Oh, there's a station there. And it's a listening station. So let's beam down with an away team. Scavron, I'll find armor for you someday. And I bought a few presents for my away team, actually. I didn't have enough money to buy armor for everyone, but I bought Tarsi a new weapon, which is a phaser assault minigun, something that you won't find in the TV shows. And Lieutenant Solar there, my other tactical officer, I bought him a phaser rifle, and I bought Scavron and Temet phaser pistols. And the reason why I gave them pistols is because they have low cooldown heals that, if they're busy firing a phaser rifle or anything with a long channeling time, then they can't access those. Like, say I gave Temet a assault minigun, and she was stuck in her animation for shooting the secondary fire mode, which can take a while. Oh, we're fighting a Klingon Swordmaster now. Let's beat him with our phaser rifle. Yeah. Now what animation Tarsi is doing is the secondary fire mode of the minigun that I gave her. It basically does a lot of little damage shots in a cone. Now, if Temet is busy doing that, she can't heal at the same time. So I gave her something with a bit of extra firepower, compared to a stun pistol. I gave her a wide beam pistol. Ooh, back up. There we go. And we have to guard this data core during transmission. And we're going to be ambushed a couple times here. I actually got a new ability for my science officer. It's basically a radiation burst. Hyperonic radiation. Now, when I get ambushed again... Waiting on it. Come on, don't be shy, Klingons. Klingons? There we go. I can activate that, and it instantly puts a damage over time on them. And there we go. Hide and seek complete. Download the data, and let's beam up and depart system.
Well done. Starfleet will analyze the data from the listening post, and with luck, there will be something there that will help us in our fight against the Klingons.
Yeah, we're still at war with the Klingons, and it's been almost 200 years, so...
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
I can't see that stopping anytime soon. And that's just telling me about bridge officer skills.
We've decrypted some of the information you found at the Klingon listening post in the Paulson Nebula, and Starfleet Intelligence believes there is at least one more of those posts out there. We have the location of a signal repeater which boosts the subspace transmissions from these listening posts. Starfleet wants you to go to the Bamari system, find the signal repeater, and use it to track down the coordinates of the other listening post. When you have the location, transport a team down to the surface and take it out. We can provide you with spatial charges to get the job done. Good luck out there. The Klingons won't give this post up easily.
Alright, another Klingon listening post. Well, I suppose we should deal with that, but we will do so in the next video. Thanks for watching.